Are you eating vegetables every day and still struggling to lower your blood sugar? That's one of the most frustrating experiences I hear from patients. You're doing what you've been told is healthy, adding more vegetables, avoiding sugar, and yet your glucose levels remain stubbornly high. Your energy crashes, the weight doesn't move, and over time, it starts to feel like your body is working against you. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Not all vegetables affect your metabolism the same way. Some actually spike blood sugar more than you realize, while others actively lower it, improving insulin sensitivity, calming inflammation, and even helping your liver regulate glucose more efficiently. This isn't about eating more vegetables. It's about eating the right vegetables, at the right time, in the right way. Because at the root of type 2, diabetes and insulin resistance is not just sugar intake. It's a deeper metabolic dysfunction involving insulin signaling, liver fat, and chronic inflammation. And the powerful part? Certain vegetables contain compounds that directly target these root causes. They don't just fit into a diabetic diet, they actually help repair your metabolism. In today's video, I'm going to break down the top 9 best vegetables for diabetics based on real physiology and emerging nutritional science, and show you exactly how to use them to lower your blood sugar naturally. We'll talk about what makes these vegetables so powerful, how they interact with insulin, and simple ways to include them in your daily routine. Before we dive into the specific vegetables, let's quickly map out the 6 key metabolic principles we're going to build on, because once you understand these, every food choice becomes clearer and more intentional. Blood sugar control is about insulin sensitivity. And not just sugar intake. It's not just about avoiding sugar, it's about how your cells respond to insulin. Certain vegetables improve insulin signaling, helping glucose move out of the blood and into the cells more efficiently. Fiber is a metabolic tool, not just touch and support. Specific types of fiber, especially soluble and fermentable fiber, slow glucose absorption, feed gut bacteria, and reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes. Your liver controls your blood sugar more than you think. Even if you don't eat carbs, your liver can make glucose through a process called gluconeogenesis. Some vegetables help regulate this process and reduce excess glucose output. Inflammation drives insulin resistance. Chronic, low-grade inflammation blocks insulin receptors. Many of the vegetables we'll cover contain powerful anti-inflammatory compounds that help reverse this. Mineral deficiencies can worsen diabetes. Nutrients like magnesium, potassium, and chromium play a critical role in glucose metabolism. The right vegetables can help replenish these naturally. Timing and preparation matter, just as much as food choice. The way you eat these vegetables, raw versus cooked, alone versus combined, day versus night, can significantly impact your blood sugar response. Let's start with one of the most powerful and often underestimated vegetables when it comes to lowering blood sugar. It's leafy greens. I'm talking about spinach, kale, arugula, and similar greens. Here's what's really going on inside your body. When you eat most foods, especially carbohydrates, your blood sugar rises and your pancreas releases insulin to move that sugar into your cells. But in insulin resistance, your cells stop responding properly. So glucose stays in the bloodstream longer than it should. Now here's where leafy greens come in. They are extremely low in carbohydrates, which means they create almost no glucose spike. But more importantly, they are rich in magnesium, a mineral that plays a critical role in insulin signaling. What the research shows is that low magnesium levels are strongly linked to insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. When magnesium is restored, insulin sensitivity often improves. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of insulin as a key and your cell as a locked door. Magnesium helps that key fit properly into the lock. Without enough magnesium, the key struggles. The door doesn't open efficiently. Glucose builds up in the blood. Leafy greens help fix that. But there's more. These vegetables are also packed with chlorophyll and antioxidants, which reduce inflammation, another major blocker of insulin function. So now you're attacking the problem from 2 angles, improving insulin sensitivity, reducing inflammation. That's powerful. Now let's make this practical. Instead of treating leafy greens like a side dish, start using them as a foundation. Here's a simple protocol. Begin at least 1 meal per day with a bowl of leafy greens. Add healthy fats like olive oil or avocado. This slows glucose absorption even further. Pair with protein to stabilize blood sugar for hours. Timing tip. Eating leafy greens before your main meal can significantly reduce your post-meal glucose spike. And one more thing. Lightly cooking greens like spinach can actually improve mineral absorption, while raw greens provide more enzymes, so ideally, use a mix of both. Now let's move to the second powerful vegetable. Cruciferous vegetables, especially broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. Here's what's really going on inside your body. One of the hidden drivers of high blood sugar is your liver. Even if you're eating perfectly, your liver can still overproduce glucose through a process called gluconeogenesis. This is especially common in people with insulin resistance or fatty liver. So you wake up with high blood sugar, even though you didn't eat anything. Now here's where cruciferous vegetables become incredibly powerful. They contain a unique compound called sulforaphane. What the research shows is that sulforaphane can actually reduce liver glucose production and improve fasting blood sugar levels. In some clinical studies, it has shown effects similar to certain glucose-lowering medications, without the side effects. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your liver like a sugar factory that's stuck in the on position. Sulforaphane helps turn that switch down. So instead of constantly releasing excess glucose into your bloodstream, your body starts to regain balance. But that's not all. Cruciferous vegetables also support detoxification pathways in the liver. And this matters because a sluggish, fatty liver is one of the root causes of insulin resistance. So now you're doing two things at once. Reducing excess glucose production, supporting liver repair and fat metabolism. That's a root cause strategy. Now let's make this practical. Here's a simple protocol. Aim for 1 to 2 cups of cruciferous vegetables daily. Lightly steam or sauté them. This preserves sulforaphane while improving digestion. Add mustard seeds or a pinch of mustard powder. This enhances sulforaphane activation. Timing tip. These are especially powerful at dinner because they help control overnight blood sugar and improve your fasting glucose in the morning. And one more advanced tip. If you tolerate it, lightly chopping broccoli and letting it sit for 10-15 minutes before cooking can significantly boost sulforaphane levels. Now let's move to the third powerful vegetable, cucumbers. Simple, refreshing, and often overlooked. But metabolically, they are doing something very important, especially if your blood sugar spikes after meals. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Every time you eat, glucose enters your bloodstream. The speed at which that happens determines how high your blood sugar spikes. Fast absorption, shocker, big spike. Slow absorption, izmaken, it's stable energy. Cucumbers are made up of over 90% water, but they also contain soluble fiber and plant compounds that help slow down glucose absorption in the digestive tract. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your digestive system like a highway. When you eat refined carbs alone, it's like opening all lanes. Glucose floods into your bloodstream basurat. But when you add foods like cucumbers, it's like adding speed bumps. The flow slows down. Traffic becomes controlled. Blood sugar stays stable. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Cucumbers also support hydration at the cellular level. And this matters more than people realize. Even mild dehydration can increase blood sugar levels because your body concentrates glucose in the bloodstream. Proper hydration helps your kidneys flush out excess glucose more effectively. So now you're getting a dual benefit. Slower glucose absorption, better blood sugar clearance through hydration. And there's one more layer. Cucumbers contain antioxidants that help reduce oxidative stress, another hidden factor that worsens insulin resistance over time. Now let's make this practical. Here's a simple protocol. Eat cucumbers before or with meals, especially meals that contain carbs. Add a pinch of salt and a splash of vinegar or lemon juice. This further improves blood sugar response. Use them as a replacement for high-carb sides like bread or chips. Timing tip. Having a small cucumber salad 10-15 minutes before your main meal can significantly blunt your post-meal glucose spike. Now let's move to the fourth powerful vegetable, garlic. This is not just a flavor enhancer, it's a metabolic regulator. Here's what's really going on inside your body. When you have insulin resistance, it's not just about glucose. There's often an underlying issue of chronic inflammation and oxidative stress damaging your cells and interfering with insulin signaling. Garlic directly targets both. It contains a sulfur compound called allicin, which has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity and reduce fasting blood sugar levels. What the research shows is that garlic supplementation can lead to measurable reductions in blood glucose, triglycerides, and even markers of inflammation in people with type 2 diabetes. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your bloodstream is like a city. Inflammation is like pollution. It clogs the system, damages structures, and slows everything down. Garlic acts like a cleanup crew. It reduces that internal pollution, allowing insulin to function more effectively and glucose to be processed properly. But that's not all. Garlic also supports cardiovascular health, which is critical because diabetes and heart disease are deeply connected. It helps improve blood vessel flexibility, reduce blood pressure, lower harmful cholesterol levels. So now you're not just targeting blood sugar, you're protecting the entire metabolic system. Now let's make this practical. Here's a simple protocol. Consume 1 to 2 cloves of fresh garlic daily. Crush or chop it and let it sit for 5–10 minutes before eating. This activates allicin. Add it to salads, cooked vegetables, or even warm a may with lemon. Timing tip. Garlic can be especially beneficial when consumed with meals. It helps reduce the overall glycemic impact of that meal. One important note. Raw garlic is more potent, but if it's too strong for you, lightly cooked garlic still provides benefits, just slightly reduced. Now let's move to the 5th powerful vegetable, onions. Again, simple, affordable, and often underestimated. But from a metabolic perspective, onions are doing something deeply powerful, especially when it comes to stabilizing blood sugar over time. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Your gut is not just digesting food, it's acting like a metabolic control center. The bacteria living in your gut directly influence insulin sensitivity, inflammation levels, even how your body responds to carbohydrates. Now here's the key. Onions are rich in prebiotic fibers, especially a compound called inulin. These fibers don't feed you directly, they feed your good gut bacteria. And when those bacteria thrive, they produce compounds called short-chain fatty acids, which have been shown to improve insulin sensitivity and reduce inflammation. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your gut bacteria like a garden. If you feed it the right nutrients, the good plants grow and the weeds stay under control. Onions are like fertilizer for that good garden. Over time, this leads to better metabolic balance and more stable blood sugar levels. But there's more. Onions also contain a powerful antioxidant called quercetin. What the research shows is that quercetin can reduce blood sugar spikes after meals, lower inflammation, improve how cells respond to insulin. So now you're working on 2 levels. Feeding the gut for long-term metabolic improvement, directly improving blood sugar control in the short term. That's a powerful combination. Now let's make this practical. Here's a simple protocol. Add raw onions to salads, yogurt dips, or meals whenever possible. Lightly cook them for easier digestion if needed. Combine with healthy fats like olive oil to enhance nutrient absorption. Timing tip. Onions are especially helpful when included in meals that contain carbohydrates. They help reduce the overall glycemic response. And one more advanced tip. Start small if you're not used to high-fiber foods. Your gut needs time to adjust. Gradually increase intake to avoid bloating. Now let's move to the 6th powerful vegetable, eggplant. This is one of the most underrated tools for controlling blood sugar, especially after meals. Here's what's really going on inside your body. When you eat carbohydrates, enzymes in your digestive system break them down into glucose. This process can happen very quickly, leading to sharp spikes in blood sugar. Now, your body does have natural ways to slow this down. But in insulin resistance, those systems don't work as efficiently. This is where eggplant becomes incredibly valuable. Eggplant is rich in soluble fiber, which forms a gel-like substance in your digestive tract. This slows down the breakdown and absorption of carbohydrates. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine pouring sugar into a glass of water. It dissolves instantly. Now imagine adding that same sugar into a thick gel. It dissolves much more slowly. That's exactly what soluble fiber in eggplant does inside your gut. It slows the release of glucose into your bloodstream, preventing those sharp spikes and crashes. But there's another powerful layer here. Eggplant contains polyphenols, plant compounds that help inhibit certain digestive enzymes responsible for breaking down carbohydrates. What the research suggests is that these compounds can reduce the rate at which glucose enters the bloodstream after meals. So now you're getting a double benefit. Slower carbohydrate digestion, reduced glucose absorption. That's a powerful combination for stabilizing blood sugar. And because eggplant is naturally low in carbohydrates and calories, it's also an excellent tool for weight management, which directly improves insulin sensitivity over time. Now let's make this practical. Here's a simple protocol. Include eggplant in meals that contain carbohydrates. Grill, roast, or saute it with healthy fats like olive oil. Pair it with protein for maximum blood sugar stability. Timing tip. Eggplant works best when eaten with your main meal, not before or after, because that's when it can directly influence digestion. And one more tip. Now let's move to the seventh powerful vegetable, okra, ladyfinger. This one is exceptional when it comes to lowering blood sugar, especially in people dealing with insulin resistance. Here's what's really going on inside your body. When you eat carbohydrates, your digestive system breaks them down into glucose, which enters your bloodstream. The rate at which this happens is critical. The faster it enters, the higher the spike. The slower it enters, the more stable your blood sugar stays. Now, okra does something very unique. It contains a thick, gel-like substance called mucilage, a type of soluble fiber that literally slows down the absorption of sugar in your intestines. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your digestive tract like a sponge. Without fiber, glucose passes through quickly, like water through an empty pipe. But with okra, it's like adding a thick gel into that pipe. Everything slows down. Glucose is released gradually, giving your body time to respond with insulin properly without overwhelming the system. But that's not all. Okra is also rich in polyphenols and flavonoids, which have been shown in research to improve insulin sensitivity, reduce oxidative stress, lower fasting blood sugar levels. Some studies even suggest that regular consumption of okra can help reduce HbA1c levels over time. So now you're getting immediate blood sugar stabilization after meals, long-term improvement in insulin function. That's exactly what we want. Now let's make this practical. Here's a simple protocol. Add okra to lunch or dinner 3-5 times per week. Lightly cook it, avoid overcooking to preserve its fiber structure. Combine with healthy fats and protein for maximum benefit. Timing tip. Okra is especially effective when eaten with meals that contain carbs because it directly slows glucose absorption. And here's an advanced tip. Some people soak sliced okra in water overnight and drink that water in the morning. While evidence is still emerging, many report improved fasting blood sugar. Simple, affordable, and powerful. Now let's move to the eighth powerful vegetable, bell peppers. Bright, colorful, and metabolically very active. Here's what's really going on inside your body. At the core of insulin resistance is something called oxidative stress. This happens when there's an imbalance between free radicals and antioxidants in your body. Over time, this damages your cells, including the insulin receptors that are responsible for pulling glucose out of your bloodstream. So even if insulin is present, your cells don't respond properly. Now here's where bell peppers come in. They are loaded with vitamin C. In fact, many bell peppers contain more vitamin C than oranges. And this matters because vitamin C is a powerful antioxidant that helps reduce oxidative stress, protect insulin-producing cells in the pancreas, improve overall glucose metabolism. What the research shows is that higher vitamin C levels are associated with better blood sugar control and reduced risk of complications in people with diabetes. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of oxidative stress like rust forming on machinery. Over time, that rust damages the system and slows everything down. Vitamin C acts like a protective coating. It prevents that damage and helps the system run smoothly. But there's more. Bell peppers also contain carotenoids and flavonoids, which further support anti-inflammatory pathways and improve insulin sensitivity at the cellular level. So now you're doing three things: protecting your cells from damage, supporting insulin function, reducing inflammation. That's deep long-term metabolic support. Now let's make this practical. Here's a simple protocol. Add raw bell peppers to salads or snacks for maximum vitamin C. Lightly sauté them if preferred, but avoid overcooking, which can reduce nutrient content. Combine with healthy fats like olive oil to improve absorption of fat-soluble compounds. Timing tip. Bell peppers are great throughout the day, but especially helpful in meals where you want to reduce oxidative stress, such as after higher carb intake. And remember, color matters. Red, yellow, and orange peppers generally contain higher antioxidant levels than green ones, so mix them up for maximum benefit. Now let's move to the ninth and final powerful vegetable, carrots. Now this might surprise you, because carrots are often misunderstood, especially in the diabetic community. Many people avoid them thinking they're too sweet. You're fakker und kakter for. But here's what's really going on inside your body. Yes, carrots contain natural sugars, but they also come packaged with fiber, water, and powerful antioxidants that completely change how your body processes that sugar. This is where context matters. The glycemic impact of a food is not just about how much sugar it contains. It's about how quickly that sugar enters your bloodstream. And whole carrots, especially raw or lightly cooked, have a low glycemic load. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of sugar in soda versus sugar in a whole carrot. Soda is like dumping sugar directly into your bloodstream, fast and uncontrolled. But a carrot? It's like that same sugar wrapped in a slow-release capsule. The fiber slows digestion. The water content dilutes the glucose. And the nutrients help your body process it more efficiently. So instead of a spike, you get a gentle, controlled rise. But that's not all. Carrots are rich in beta-carotene, which your body converts into vitamin A. What the research shows is that antioxidants like beta-carotene help reduce oxidative stress, improve insulin sensitivity, support pancreatic function. So carrots are not just safe, they're actually supportive when eaten correctly. Now let's make this practical. Here's a simple protocol. Eat carrots in their whole form. Avoid juices. Pair them with healthy fats, like nuts or olive oil, to slow absorption even further. Use them as a replacement for high-carb snacks. Timing tip. Carrots work best as a snack or part of a balanced meal, not on their own in large quantities. And one important note, overcooking carrots can increase their glycemic impact, so aim for raw or lightly steamed. Let's bring this all together. Managing blood sugar is not about restriction, it's about strategy. Because now you understand something most people don't. Blood sugar is controlled at multiple levels. At the cellular level through insulin sensitivity, at the liver level through glucose production, at the gut level through absorption and microbiome health, and at the inflammatory level, which affects everything. And the vegetables we covered today target all of these systems. Leafy greens improve insulin signaling. Cruciferous vegetables regulate liver glucose. Cucumbers slow absorption and improve hydration. Garlic reduces inflammation and supports metabolism. Onions feed your gut and improve insulin response. Eggplant slows carbohydrate breakdown. Okra stabilizes blood sugar with its unique fiber. Bell peppers protect your cells from oxidative stress. Carrots provide controlled energy with powerful antioxidants. This is how you move from managing symptoms to actually addressing the root cause. And here's your next step. Don't try to do everything at once. Pick just 1 or 2 vegetables from this list and start using them intentionally this week. Track how your body responds. Watch your energy. Notice your cravings, either shati in or carrots. Because when you work with your physiology, your body starts working for you. And that's where real healing begins. If this added value to your life, like the video and subscribe, because I'm here to help you optimize your health naturally, one simple step at a time.